Hello everybody, hope you all are doing well, and this is Dimple here welcoming you all to my next tutorial on Android framework components. Log analysis is vital part of every Android developer. If you analyze logs correctly and if root cause is identified, half of the issue will be resolved by itself. So throughout this series of tutorials, in my other sessions also throughout this tutorial in my other sessions also I have given you all information about various types of log collections, how to look for a log message, when to look for a log message. I have also explained what is dumps is, what are the different types of information dumps is provides us, and different commands through adb to capture different versions of dumps is. And also recently I have done a tutorial on what is watchdog timeout and how to analyze these watchdog timeouts. Today we will see what is an ANR. So ANR is application not responding. It is very most commonly seen errors in Android applications. So today we'll see what is ANR and how to debug this ANR, how to avoid this ANR. Also, we'll see an example of an ANR. So let's get started. So ANR is nothing but application not responding. If your application, so in your application, the main thread of your application, if it is not responsive for 5 seconds, that time ANR will occur. So if your main thread, that is the thread which is responsible for updating the UI, the thread with which you're interacting with, so if that is not responsive for more than 5 seconds, the time ANR will be caused. So it is always required to design the application to be responsive. As an application developer, these are the things we should take care of. We should take care that our main thread will always be performing some task and it will not perform any task more than 5 seconds. So if this main thread is not responsive, then ANR will be triggered. And what are the possible causes of ANR? Why does the main thread will not be responsive? So the examples for those are, or the possible causes are, application blocks on IO operation on UI thread. So your main thread may be performing some input output operations, main input output operations. That is one of the cause for ANR. Also, the second cause may be application will spend too much time in computation of next move in a game. In some complex game applications, this can be a reason. And suddenly you will see a message telling application is not responding. Either you wait or you close. So when this message occurs, that time that, we assume or we tell that there is an ANR in your application. So that time we'll either close or wait and we'll reopen the app again. So the third possible cause is application is performing some lengthy operation. And the fourth cause is broadcast receiver performing CPU intensive operations, some background applications which will be CPU intensive. So these can be the causes why your main thread is not responding before 5 seconds. So to tell in simple words, ANR, it's nothing complicated. Just remember, if the main thread of your application is not responsive for more than 5 seconds, ANR will be triggered. How to debug an ANR? Now we understood what is an ANR, what are the different causes ANR occurs, we know that. Now how to debug an ANR? So this is the important part we have to look into in today's session. So this is our goal today, how we have to debug an ANR. So ANR traces will be generated when ANR occurs. So whenever ANR occurs, the traces will be generated and file is generated in slash data slash ANR folder on the device with the name traces.txt for the application ANRs. Okay. So in your device folder in slash data folder, another folder called ANR folder will be generated whenever ANR occurs, and inside that ANR folder traces.txt, one text file will be there that will have information of all the states of all the threads in all the processes when ANR occurred. So when ANR occurred, what were the different processes which were available? What were the different states of those processes? What were the threads available? All those details are captured in traces.txt. So as a developer, we have to mainly focus on traces.txt file in order to see what have caused to this ANR. So we have to check if it's a background or a foreground ANR. Priority will be a foreground ANR, which will cause a visible force close of the app process. So foreground ANR, background ANR means don't worry. Foreground ANR means ANR caused by the application which is in foreground. Background ANR means ANR caused by the application which is in background. So this info can be got from the system logs by searching ANR keyword and checking for the details. It can also be seen in the event logs. So in the event logs, we can see am ANR, I am an ANR, am underscore ANR with the reason for ANR and the type of ANR. So in order to know why exactly this ANR has occurred, we have to always analyze logs 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 60 seconds before the ANR occurred. So why exactly this error has caused, we have to come to the root cause, right? So we have to analyze what happened 5, 10, 60 seconds before the ANR. When we go through those logs, we will get an idea as to why ANR has occurred. So as I already told, check the traces.txt file which can be pulled from data ANR folder from the device. This file contains status of all the threads of the processes in which ANR was seen. Check the stack trace and state of each thread there. If main thread is in a monitor thread, check which other thread or stack is holding up the monitor causing the deadlock. From the system logs, CPU utilization at the time of the ANR to be checked if system is overloaded and which process is utilizing most of the CPU. So if the reason of the ANR is due to CPU utilization, then we have to check other logs to see which processes were held with the CPU. So here is an example for an ANR. So imagine I got an ANR when I'm accessing the dialer. So the command line followed by whatever package name you're seeing here, com Android phone. So this is the package name of my application where ANR has occurred. So from this we'll come to know in which application ANR has occurred, and also you seeing this stack trace will come to know why the ANR has occurred. So the last line here is the dispatch message that is calling phone handle message, that is again calling cdmaltep dot handle message function, that is again calling CDMA phone.handle message function, that is calling update TS25T table. So this is the method in which ANR has occurred, and it is telling the file and line number where this is occurring also. So the file is phonebase.java and line number 2959. So in this particular line number, in this particular file, in this particular function, which is update ts25t table, something is held for more than 5 seconds. Some operation is being performed for more than 5 seconds. That is why ANR has occurred in this application com android dot phone. So this is how you debug. You'll get the function name, you'll get the file name, you'll get the line number also, which will help us in debugging very easily. So this was an example of an ANR. Now we all know what is an ANR, what causes an ANR, how to debug an ANR. We also saw an example for ANR. Now we will see how to avoid an ANR. So to avoid ANR, we should perform long running operations on worker thread. So avoid performing long running operations on your main thread. Okay, long running operations has to be performed on worker thread and not on your main thread. So less work has to be performed in key lifecycle methods on resume and on create. Okay, so in my previous sessions, I have explained what is on resume, on create, what are the different life cycle methods. Please go through them to understand the importance of each one. To create worker thread, we can use async task class for long running operations like file uploading or file downloading, anything. So always we can create background task for long running operations. So these are the ways to avoid an ANR. So this was a brief tutorial of what is an ANR, how to look into an ANR, how to debug an ANR, how to avoid an ANR. So I hope this was helpful. In my next tutorial, I'll come up with another common error and how to debug that particular type of error. Hope this was informative. See you all in the next tutorial. Until then, take care. Bye.